Hello and welcome to From the BON. This is the mini-pod instant reaction to Burnley 0, Leeds United 0. It was hyped up as Monday Night Football, the nation's eyes on Turf Moor. We did our share of hyping as well. It was a total letdown in the end. I'm joined by Chris Boden and Paul Woodhouse for a quick recap of that one. Let's start with you, Chris. Not the game we were hoping for.
But the game we were expecting. Yeah, I said in the group chat, it was almost like the Anschluss, wasn't it, between Germany and Austria, and those of you remember the '82 World Cup.
Exactly.
They look like two teams who were happy with the points, and if you could nick a goal, great, and if not, I think Farker even said in an interview before the game, if you can't win it, make sure you don't lose it. And that seemed to be the pervading emotion, really. A couple of half chances for Fleming first half, weren't there? And Trafford could have had a deck chair on, like he pretty much could have had in the game up there. Yeah, the top scorers in the Championship, and we've played twice against them, and not really look like conceding in either game. Don't look like scoring either, but yeah, you take that and move on. I think as this guy said, it's 8 of the last 11 games have been against top half teams. So, like people are saying on Twitter, we seem to, we're more likely to flip up against bottom half teams. They'd be unable to sort of carve them open, these deep blocks. But it's a tough slog, that, when you think about it, sort of mentally, physically, what's at stake. Going to Blackburn, going to Sheffield, playing Sunderland, playing Leeds within that. It's been a hell of a run. And, like Scott Parker was saying, on the video the club put out about after the game, after the derby win at Blackburn, just thanking his players for digging in and what they've given him, and it was a dreadful spectacle. But I think you've got to accept that, take the point, and let's roll on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone would be upset about the result, but the performance was a real letdown for me. I thought I was really looking forward to this one, as I think most of us were, thinking it could be a humdinger and we could at least make a real go of it. But neither side, and particularly us, didn't really create enough, did they, at all, would they?
Neither side. I don't know why Leeds gave up. After about 20 minutes, they couldn't get past, and then suddenly thought, well, if they're going to play for a point, then 0-0, we'll do exactly the same. Like Bod says, shades of 1982. But it's like we've obviously developed into this win away, draw at home mentality, and that'll take us up. We'll be all right. But that was some fare. It really was. There's a form of purgatory somewhere where they're watching that for all eternity. The poor bastards, they've done something seriously wrong.
Yeah, that poor commentator who was on the world feed sounded like he didn't really want to have been at Turf Moor tonight, and he knew right from the start. He was like, "This will probably be like, I hope I'm wrong, but this will probably be a bit of a dour one," and it was. I mean, once again, the home fans, Chris. We joked about this after the Plymouth performance that the away fans are getting all the fun this year. The home fans are getting served up draw after draw, goalless games, and. The atmosphere sounded great, but they didn't get served up much at all, did they?
No, it's heavy going, isn't it? If you're a season ticket, so last season was bad enough. Being out of games within half an hour and getting walloped every other week, and if you go back to the sort of origins of the game where it was literally where you let off steam and got your enjoyment and a bit of socialising of a weekend after a tough week at work, and it's not entertainment. This it's like what do you say? It's some form of torture. They'll be playing this in various black spots, I've no doubt, the US. But oh my word, it needs must, isn't it? We'd all like to see, really, like we saw at Plymouth in the first half last week, sort of going for the jugular. We're risk averse, but that's the recipe that's working, and it's, like I say, we've all sort of commended the job Scott Parker's done, and having had to kind of piece pieced together his team unit. You've got to take great pride in what he's done with the defence stability. But we're almost the opposite of what we were under Company. We couldn't. Last season defensively shooting ourselves in the foot every week, and this season we just do not look like conceding whatsoever. But just offering nigh on no attacking threat.
But not taking risks, it does make me wonder: is the defensive solidity built on not taking risks? In other words, the midfield should get a lot of credit for these clean sheets as well as the back four, because tonight it seemed we never got those midfielders into those areas. Laurent and Brownhill never got in there enough around Fleming. Is it part of it tactical as well as some excellent defending? Obviously.
I think you've got to. I always remember a conversation with Michael Duff that stuck in my mind during Eddie Howe's time, and I think we sort of talk about some of the chronic defending. You're getting beat 4-2 at Palace, having been 2-0 up, and drawing. Charlie Austin scores hat-trick at home to Sheffield Wednesday, and you don't win the game, and things like that. But like Michael Duff saying, if the way the team was set up during Eddie's time. We weren't set up to defend. You're getting done in behind by pace. Too high a line, and Sean Dyche sort of flipped that, didn't he? He defensively made them stronger, probably less easy on the eye going forward. And it's everyone wants that balance, don't they? Steve Cottrell's teams were similar, weren't they? Didn't give a lot away, didn't score a lot. You need it. Who's going to be that Coyle type to take the handbrake off? I mean, it flip-flops, doesn't it, over the course of football history? You're going from Cottrell to Coyle to Laws to Howe to Dyche. It's to Company to Parker Ball. It's fascinating to see, really. Similar sets of players at times perform differently, depending on how they're set up, and it's this is the way that Parker's had success in the past, and he like Guy again said tonight. Previously he's had a Mitrovic and a Solanke to help his teams get promoted. We haven't got anything like that.
Yeah,
and that's it. I mean, see, knocking balls up to Fleming tonight. I don't think he won a header all night, apart from the couple he got on the end of in the Leeds area. And you've got someone like Barnes on the bench, and he's had a couple of minutes, hasn't he, since returning? You've J-Rod as well, and you do wonder, sometimes. I mean, I thought the changes should have been made far earlier tonight. You see, Foster was struggling all out, battled away, to be fair, second half, and did his best, but he probably, a game for Hannibal, maybe look at Colin or so later in the piece, or Sarmiento. By that stage, both sides rocking with a draw.
Woody, we have had 0 shots on target in the entire game, but the one sort of half chance, I guess you could call it, the bouncing ball is going to Fleming. He decides he's going for it and blasts it miles over the bar. But you look at the replay and there's Anthony totally wide open on the edge of the box, who he could have laid it off to. I mean, that was the game there, wasn't it?
We've seen it a few times this season, haven't we? We've seen it with Anthony. We've seen that poor decision-making where they decided to take a half snapshot on, and you've seen the replay. We've even seen it live at the time where it should have been laid off or somebody should have been played through. And when you look at how we've played and how chances are at such a premium, that level of decision-making of just giving it a thwack is an appalling decision, isn't it? So yeah, you should be doing better in those moments, and they should be doing. And they've had other similar opportunities in other games where they've done similar things, and it's just one of those, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, on the positive side, man of the match on the turf was Maxime Estep. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. I mean, that was a masterclass centre-half display.
He barely put a foot wrong, did he? He turned his man. He managed to just have that little turn of pace. He brought the ball forward. He pinged a few balls about, and they just didn't know. There was just no getting round him, was there? There was no beating him. He just looked head and shoulders above anybody else. In our defence, their defence, or probably any other defence in the division, it was immense tonight.
Concentration levels, isn't it, in a game like that? I mean, I don't think they've particularly stretched us, barely got in behind. But you've just got to maintain those concentration levels, and he just cruised through that for me. As did the appetite of the rest of the side not to concede. I mean, Cullen made a terrific block, and you got Egan there who just shows this just a great desire. You want to see defenders absolutely putting their lives on the line, the body on the line, so as not to concede. There's a desperation to protect the goal, which has almost been lost in some footballers. I think it's a really admirable trait to have, and I'd say it's. I mean, it did stretch them at the other end, but this defensive record. The defensive record, I think I highlighted, and Burnley's record in the Championship, which I think bears closer scrutiny. I don't think enough people have, to have lost 3 games in the last season at this level, and to have only lost 2 in 29. They were 23 unbeaten under Sean Dyche. I think they've lost 15 out of 171 Championship games.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Well, 3 of those came in December 2015 when we lost at Borough. Lost at home to Preston, and the 3-0 hammering at Hull that preceded the unbeaten run that led to the title. I'd like to see, you go back through any league, maybe the Bayern Munichs of this world have done it, the Real Madrids, but there can't be many sides with a record like that over a sustained spell in any one league.
No, it's really impressive, isn't it? It does speak to the level that we've got to. But talking about levels, I got a feeling during the first half, watching Leeds pop those passes off pretty fast, they were looking a little bit closer to a Premier League side than we are. And it did leave me with the feeling that maybe what we're looking at this season is Leeds are going up, and it's Sheffield United, Sunderland, or us for the other spot. Am I wrong, Woody?
Partially. Because you haven't just seen us get thumped by Hull 3-0 at home. We haven't just spunked a 3-0 lead against Hull either. It's like, we're a little bit on the steady side, but we aren't having these weird results coming out of nowhere. We haven't just drawn against Plymouth, in the in the 90th minute. And sides that go up tend not to have those weird little aberrations. We'll be there and thereabouts. It's probably, I agree with you that Leeds looked the most complete side, especially going forwards, that we've seen. And they did ping it about for that first 20 minutes like they were a Premier League side and made us play it extremely quickly. But we nullified it, to be fair, and they didn't come with any, like Bod said, they didn't break us down. And then they just decided, we won't risk it either. So it's a very different style. It is.
Yeah, they had one shot on target the whole game as well.
85th minute, wasn't it?
Eh?
Dan James's 85th minute effort. Yeah.
The Trafford's done well with, although you thought, Chris, maybe a little bit playing to the cameras?
I thought in real time, I thought that's a really smart save. And then you look at the replay and it's comfortable. Yeah, it's like Roy the Rover's job, isn't it? It's just... he's done the job, but I mean, it's rising all the time, isn't it? It's the only effort really of note. But to the point you were making, I mean, Middlesbrough looked a better football inside than us. Sunderland looked a better football inside than us. Leeds looked a better football inside than us. But you're reading all these interviews, aren't you? And I think was it Borough after the game at Turf? They all came out, we're better than them, and Leeds. Solomon before the game, we've got beat at home to Burnley, but we're better than them. And all the chat you've heard from Sunderland, from fans, press alike, we're better than them. Well, show it. Show us in the final league table. Yeah, we're above you. So certainly Sunderland and Middlesbrough's case. And, we've taken points off you. We might not have beaten Sunderland, but taken 4 points off Leeds. And, so we're going to take some stopping, as our championship record suggests. We do not lose games at this level. And you think back now, it's absolutely staggering to think that we lost a game at Millwall. Just beggars belief.
Yep. It's not the night we wanted, not the result we wanted, but it's not a disaster. It's not the end of the world. We're still in the promotion chase. And before we sign off, here's a little taste of what it was like from our man Justin, who's been on Turf Moor tonight. Justin, how was it?
What to say about that game? I was going to record something as I was walking away from the ground, but it's so cold and wet tonight that I didn't fancy that much. So instead what I did was I was kind of trying to listen to what people around me were saying as they were walking away from the game, and there was a lot of kind of boring rubbish being talked. The standout comment was, I would have brought Ashley Barnes on. I'm not sure that would have changed much, to be honest, but I think that genuinely was one of the least exciting football matches I've ever been to. I can't actually remember one where so little happened throughout the whole 90 minutes. There's only one incident that I can really recall, and it's only like I said, 20 minutes after the game finished, and that was James Trafford's save a bit late on, which looked decent from where I was. I'm quite a long way away from the cricket field then, so can't make out much detail at my age. But I just thought it was I bigged it up on the podcast today, and I described it as a classic 6-pointer, and it perhaps turned out that it actually was just that, a classic 6-pointer, a game where neither side really could afford to lose, or at least had too much to lose to really go for it. And looking back on it, there's a certain sort of inevitability that it's going to end up at a draw. So few chances, so few shots, so few incidents of any kind of note. Lots of niggly little fouls. Some really poor performances, I thought. I mean, I know he didn't have a lot to feed on, but Zian Fleming spent more time playing rugby than football tonight. And I couldn't see what the point of that was. Little ambition going forward, still very, very decent, solid defensively. That Esteve was the man of the match tells its own story, really, doesn't it? But yeah, all in all, from a cold, very, very wet Turf Moor, all we can say to describe that game is, what an anticlimax.
Okay, we'll wrap that up for this mini pod. Don't forget, today is launching the From the BOL End newsletter. You can get it on Substack. Go to our Twitter feed or our Facebook feed. You'll find the link there, or go to Substack and search From the BOL End. You'll find a newsletter there that Greavesy's editing. We're going to be all contributing to it in different ways and different volumes. All the news about the Clarets, news and views, opinions, interviews, lots of written content about Burnley Football Club coming up through that newsletter. It's completely free, in your email, 2 or 3 times a week. Give it a go. Let us know what you think of it. In the meantime, we'll see you again on BO Podcast later this week. And until then, up the Clarets.
How many times do I have to tell you? Stop moaning!
Not going anywhere. I've never been happier. Only to wake up in a whole different world.